This is the 1959 Girl Scout Senior Roundup in Colorado, where 8,500 teenage Girl Scouts camped at the foot of Pikes Peak for 12 days. Roundup is the largest encampment of teenage girls in the Western world. In a matter of hours, Roundup Scouts built a unique city on a wind-blown prairie, a city of 6,000 tents. All kinds of tents, with personal touches starting on the outside. Everyone pitched in with the chores, even a blind girl from Massachusetts who had a heart for camping and hands that knew the way. Complete facilities were on hand to serve the total population of 10,000. For 12 days, this city of tents was the 6th largest city in Colorado. In the evenings, all of the excitement of the Old West exploded into Indian dances, recreated by a famed young people's group, the Kosharis. Yes, Indians and cowboys, and the fun of square dancing. Most of the girls had square danced before, but somehow this was different. They were out west. They were dancing on a prairie under a western sky. A Roundup Day begins at 7:30. For some, a little later. Yes, it looks like a fine day, and throughout the camp, the girls get ready to meet it. The supply tent was much bigger than Mother's cupboard, but its turnover was just as fast. The girls had cookouts 3 times a day and loved them. The method was primitive, but the eating population was highly cosmopolitan. It included senior Girl Scouts from every state, territory, and possession, and 200 girls from 27 other countries. A say-it card with phrases in 4 languages helped the girls get to know one another. It also came in handy at mealtime.
pen watte kudasaimasen? Thank you.
You're welcome. カナリカとはどんなところですか?
Connecticut is a wonderful state. We have beaches.
Beaches?
Yes.
But the girls were in Colorado, where there are mountains and rocks and a lot of scenery for the looking. For the thousands of campers who had never been west, Colorado was still a frontier to be explored. The awesome beauty of the Garden of the Gods surrounds a safari of 44 buses as they find their way through pillars of red sandstone. Sightseeing makes you thirsty, and then friendship begins in small ways. A favorite Girl Scout recipe for making friends is to take 2 or more people, put them in a relaxed setting, and let them swap. It's a great way to make friends. Maria is tying a caribou to Judy's hat. It's a wood carving of the Philippine work animal, and Judy is probably the only girl in Muskegon, Michigan to own one. Swapping went on all the time, but especially at the trading post, Roundup's main street, where girls from every part of the sprawling encampment gathered to call home, buy film, and make new friends. When the girls ran out of swaps, they called emergency sessions and made some more. Within a few days, the traditional frontier hat was just a memory. Swaps had turned every hat into a storehouse of souvenirs. Small, colorful mementos of an interesting fact, a good laugh, a new friend. A patrol from Great Falls, Montana lived in teepees just like those of the Blackfeet Indians and performed their ceremonial dances. lumberjack costumes are authentic too, and the log is nature's own from Sandpoint, Idaho. There was time to find new interests and perhaps learn something new about yourself. There was time to explore ideas on education, careers, and marriage, on the space age, on human relations.
Television, the atomic bomb, these are the things which bring men together. And your community is a very different community from the village or the town in which your grandparents lived. And this is one of the reasons why in human relations we begin to need understanding of diversity.
The closing campfire was dedicated to peace. A girl from each of the 28 nations represented at Roundup wore her native uniform as she carried her country's flag across the arena. She also carried with her a wish for peace, which she read first in her native tongue and then in English. A girl from Pakistan.
सब तारीफ खुदा ही को सजावार है जो तमाम मखलूकात का परवरदिगार है बहुत मेहरबान निहायत रहम वाला the beneficent the merciful. Show us the straight path, the path of those whom thou hast favored, and let us take the message of love and friendship to all.
And their wishes built a sacred fire. A girl from Korea.
평화를 위한 기원문. 하나님께서 세계의 모든 걸스카웃과 가이드를 그들이 서로 사랑하고 wish for peace. May God bless our guides and scout sisters all over the world to love each other and to be prepared to give service in the homes, communities and countries where they belong in order to bring peace and goodwill into our world through the practice of guiding and scouting.
The Girl Scouts of these United States of America, with loving hearts and hands, now offer our wishes of goodwill, with hope for peace in every land.
Many campers had traveled thousands of miles to come to Roundup, and others far enough to make it an adventure. They had seen something of the West, found new interests, and learned more about old ones. But the most important thing that happened to them was that they got to know one another.